At the Afro-Caribbean Food Bank for our second Youth and Senior Workshop. On behalf of the Food Bank, I would like to thank McDonald's Kingsway for sponsoring our event with some coffee and some delicious baked goods. Thank you so much.
And the cause of fake news, which I've watched the movie and I've also read the book, is about how we spread information, how we get news, how we sometimes when you see something, especially our seniors or our youth, when you see something on Facebook, or we believe it like, oh yeah, that's true, you know, there's someone behind that computer, there's someone behind that thing that is on TV, even sometimes when they advertise it, doesn't mean it's true, you know, so we need to use our own critical thinking to know where the source is coming from. So this is a movie about it. And it's really eye-opening to all. Let's enjoy it together. The grown man is actually wanting to cry because of the hate crime. You know, someone walking into your establishment with guns, does not even mind that there are kids eating, ready to kill because of something he sees, and he goes with it. You know, so I will encourage us to continue to fill our answers as we talk about it. You know, so far from where we stopped to where we are right now. What can we, what are your thoughts?
Fake news and all that, it's just like, they could, like when they were talking about how his, like they just pulled random photos from his, from like his Facebook or something and started making random words, and how they just found like random correlations to fit what they were saying. So like it shows how people can really pull out anything from anywhere and make it work, because like I don't think any of it was true. It was his kids and stuff, and they're saying that it's random people when you can literally see him with them in the photo, and there's probably even a description saying here are my grandkids, something something something, but they ignore that and make it in like what way they want to see it. So
true. Totally agree. Yeah, branching is this, and people run and they keep passing the narrative, you know, as we say it to the next person, it becomes the truth, and it becomes what people take around the city. Oh yeah, this is whatever it is, you know, even though clearly we can see the black and white, they can see those are the family. They're like, no, it's fake, you know, they merge it together, or there are some random kids that they need to rescue. So it's very powerful, fake news, and then what it does to us, and how it affects us, how it affects the election. Clearly we can see, you know, the narrative.
We can recognize fake news in so many ways. One, by its content, by the stimulating, and also fast, because when you see a message on the social media, those are things we should look after. Is it the source? Yeah. We have to, because if you are not careful, it's going to affect every area of your endeavors. Most especially when it contains with a little kids. You have to be very, very careful. So to sensitize and source it out. Is it a fake news? is it a real news? Then by the time you look at the content, you look at everything, you will know this is a fake news. And then we have to definitely at the bottom of that news, there is going to be, whether you like it or not, of course you are going to tap dislike or I don't need it. Those are the ways by which we can dismiss fake news in our social media.
Totally, 100%, Grandma, you know. I love where's it coming from. How does it, critical thinking, that's still what I'm saying. Critical thinking is really important. We think, we think critically how, does that make sense? Does it not, who is the source? Where does it come from? Does it relate, So before we run with whatever we read or share it or like say it to somebody else, think about it. I totally agree with you.
That news, it will spoil so many people. This has happened when nothing has happened. It will make people scared. People have had wars in countries because of fake news. So many schools, several things have happened because of this fake news. So this type of media people, we should give them very strong warning. If you hear something, find out, don't just spread it.
I totally agree, honestly, For me, I just recently diving into Gaddafi. Gaddafi is ex-president of Mali. He was killed about 4 or 5 years when Obama was there. Libya, thank you. He's the president of Libya. Then when it comes out, like, they're going to Libya to invade, Gaddafi is bad, Gaddafi is this, And what was Gaddafi fighting for? One Africa, unite Africa, let's be one, let's have our own money, which we know the Western world does not want that. It's a threat to that. So I'm just recently diving into his life story, finding out that in Libya, all the citizens have a house, you get money, they don't pay electricity, and you can compare Libya then when Gaddafi was on, and now it's grassroots, life, streets, slavery exchange, and look at it. And many other things where the US or other people, Western world, we are invading Iraq. They have weapons of mass destruction. It's been 10, 15 years after they've not found any. So we need to use our own critical thinking when we see things, even though it's coming from CNN or the politician. Is it right though? We've done our own finding.
Human beings are the people that are propagating things in CNN. They are human beings like us. They have their own mindset. Either to destroy or to make other things. So at times we ignore some fake news. For instance, if you get a fake news or you read maybe in the newspaper or magazine, you look at it critically and track it. If it doesn't align with your own conscience, all of us are having conscience.
So how do we as a community, how do we respond to this? I think we've talked about that. And when we see something as a community, as an individual, how do we respond to this? How do we be part? How does your voice make an impact? If things say stuff like this, how do we as a community, individual, how do you contribute to it? I think Grandma said one is stop, don't share. What you're not certain about, don't share it. Because you're passing information to other people. So how do we as an individual, Tiffany, how do you as an individual, how do you contribute to the society?
Part of it is doing your own research. Like you said, before you share something, you should have done your own research to make sure it's actually from a credible source and that it's real. I think now with all the different online platforms we have, there's this normalization of just believing everything you see at face value. Even though all these people, like, even politicians, influencers, not everything they say is 100% real. They might even cut up the video, cut up the facts, cut up quotations to convince you of their own narrative. So you really have to know the full context of a story, I think.
Yeah, you said it. I totally forgot about that, how they cut off something and join it together. And you're like, you said it. I'm like, I didn't say it that way. There's contents behind that thing that you're saying. So I want to hear from more, from the grandmas, grandpa, treasure, from you, say, how do we contribute to this as an individual?
I was actually going to ask, after all these things, what's the solution? Because, like we individuals, when you look at the percentage of people that believe these things, you're not even sure you're doing it.
Yeah.
But when a story, whether fake news or not, comes out, especially the fake ones, they go viral.
Oh yeah.
By the time you try to do anything, many people have captured it and they have started running with it. So I really, sometimes when I think about it, I think about the consequences, how to punish these people, because they know where it was coming from, they know how to trace it back to where it came from, but nobody wants to do all those trouble.
Nobody wants to clean
Nobody. Instead, you look at it, maybe the story is sweet, and you start sharing it. You tell people, there was one I saw one day, and I believed it. It looked really real. I'm not there. I don't know what happened. But I thought, I saw it, it was sweet. By the time I shared it to somebody, the person said, I don't think this thing is true. Because I've seen it somewhere else and they said it's not true. Then I did not share to anybody again. I didn't share to anybody again because I have heard that they saw it somewhere, it's not true. What if nobody said anything? I would have shared it more. I would have sent it to more people. So I saw one guy there, Assange or something. That one is a propagator of fake news too. That guy, not everything that he says was fake, but he
added to it.
What they called, I've forgotten what they called him. He was being looked for everywhere. He's from, I think, I don't know, but they hid him in one embassy for years. He was there, Assange, and from there he was in control of the computers and all the news coming out. He would dive into their something box and bring out information, secret information. Some of them could have been lies, but he brought them out and shared them everywhere. I listened to her talked about the Libya man, Gaddafi. It was during, I think, Obama's time or so, or Bush. He was a very tough man. He was a tough African, and they didn't like how tough he was. The Western world didn't like it, and they were looking for something to do to him. But, when you look at his story, it was his people too that he said he helped, that killed him. It was not the Western world.
Because the Western world infiltrated views into his people.
Yes, and
then they became negative.
That's the sad thing.
Yeah, and
that's the sad thing about the media, about fake news and so on. His people killed him. Yes. I was discussing with in the taxi or in the Uber. We're talking about this young man, the African. His best friend was also bought over to destroy him. Judas. We didn't know Judas now, so this one we are seeing it now.
Yes,
Exactly. It was not happening
Yes.
because Judas was with Jesus and Jesus knew everything. Yet. So you see, that's where fake news also started. That was where fake news started. Because Judas said a lot of things against Jesus and they believed him. They wanted him gone.
Because of money.
Because of money. And that is what is happening now.
Yes.
Because the Burkina Faso guy, when he found out that his friend was actually brought over to destroy him, it happened in Nigeria. Babangida made sure that not Delegiwa, those army people he executed.
Okay.
One of them was his best friend.
That's
Mama Dvata was his best friend.
Basta.
But he was tied on the stake and shot.
Even the Western world, they pleaded.
Everybody pleaded, he refused. So that is like what is going on. Burkina Faso, his friend, he went to his friend's place and got his friend. If he's in Nigeria, he will be executed.
Oh yeah.
And all of them that planned the coup, he sort of pardoned them, but gave them, that's why I was asking for solution. He gave them a tougher job to do. And the job sent them inside villages to go and work with the village people and better their lives. He gave them targets to do certain things. I watched the documentary, and people, the other military commanders were not happy with him, but by the time he sat down and told them his reasons, because if you execute them, other people are they won't stop. So at the end of the day, he did not execute those ones. Will they stop? They will not stop. They will still be trying. But now there will be more people to support him than be against him, because they have seen what he's doing in the country. He has done so well, but they still want to kill him.
Yeah.
So I really don't understand this world at all. At all.
I think for me, Ibrahim, the current president of Burkina Faso right now, in the last 2 years, what he has done in the last 6 months, a lot of people have not done it. And you can see recently, on was it Friday or Thursday, the General Army whatever of the United America was like, oh, they want to kill him. Oh, he's using the oil money to tighten his security, because he's actually doing something for Africa. He's speaking up for Africa.
Excuse me, the Burkinabés in France went on a demonstration that they don't want him. So they want him to step down. But he's doing so much.
Oh, you can't step down. Change is hard. Change is a difficult thing in life. And we as an African, we are so used to now, I will use Nigeria for an example. It has been spoiled for like how many years? 60 whatever years now. And we have this, to get it to where we want it to be, it's going to take a while. Burkina Faso is a smaller country. What he did first, he's changing his,
And the Western world don't like it. Because if other African countries or presidents see this, they're going to follow him.
3 has already followed.
And then that's what they don't want.
And that's what we need.
But that's what we need.
You know,
change. We should also help.
Do you know why they don't like it? Like in Niger, is it uranium? One of the
their minerals.
Uranium. It's so expensive, but the France give them peanuts for it, because they are in control.
We sold our people.
They are in control of it. So the new people that came up now, the military, said no, and then sanctioned France, sent closed their embassy, sent them away. But they have not rested. And the next thing they did, I think it was Niger or Burkina Faso, no more teaching of French in the school. Everybody should speak their own
Like
language.
how they trash out the history.
In Nigeria, there's no history.
They don't know.
Most of our children do not. That was why
Our teacher told them.
they don't know history because they feel it's not important. They just tell them what they want and what they want them to hear. And this is a global problem.
It's a global.
It's a global problem.
It's very, very
fake news.
Yeah.
Very, very painful.
Now is educating them. When you see something because it's there does not mean you should believe it. Know your rights, know what is right, know the source. And I think from that generation, we continue to learn and we continue to educate ourselves and recognize fake news.
Just to add to that, know the truth is also important to tell people to share the truth as well. So that the way the fake news is going viral, let the truth go viral as well. So it's really important that we're teaching ourselves, but we're also teaching people in our networks as well.
It's a long way. So how do we solve that? Educating ourselves, passing on the right truth, knowing and all those things. So, Treasure, I see that you wrote a lot of. You want to share some of your things with us?
Yeah, sure. For 1A, I wrote like how to recognize is to have an open mind. Because if you have an open mind about what's going on, you have a better understanding of what's happening. Because people like who usually get like consumed with whatever the fake news is, they usually don't think outside of where is it coming from, is this actually true, what's happening, they just see it and then they believe it. They don't take into consideration that it could have been through so many different things and so many different perspectives could have been added on top of it, and it could have formed into even more lies. And then I wrote, know what's actually true and what's not true, because if you don't know what's really true, then you're just gonna believe what they see and feel that's true instead. And then I said, make sure it's from a credible source, because there's a lot of fake, random stuff out there on fake websites that people just go on and believe it's true when it's really not true. And then for this, I said don't let fake news control your thoughts and beliefs, because oftentimes people let what they see on the internet affect their original thoughts and beliefs, and it changes what they see and believe. And then I said research the topic, because if you have a better understanding of what's happening, then you be like less prone to believing the fake news. And then for emotions that make disinformation effective, I said fear, pride, and anger, because a lot of people give into fear when they're scared. Like they don't think critically, they just do whatever, believe whatever. And then pride, because usually people who are like prideful, they like if they see something online and they feel like they have this need or responsibility to impact someone else's life or help someone else in a way, but really they're adding to the fake news and they're not doing much better. And then I said anger, because when people are angry and like they're consumed with rage, they don't think properly and they don't like see things right. They just do whatever they want to do, thinking that's right, but sometimes it's really not.
Community organizations respond. A lot of communities, they could come together and they could like maybe do research groups together, and actually, because I think research is very important, because like research is how you understand, research is how you gain more knowledge, and through research you can like find your own truths and you can find your own information. And when we find, it's easy to believe a group rather than one individual, because in a group you can have backup, you know there's people who can support it, but when it's one person, it's like this person could have said this and said this, but when it's a group you have people who can make sure that everyone's going on the right path. So like research groups to research the topics and make sure that the fake news isn't fake, or to like turn the fake news into truth, and when you find it out, share it, publish it, and make sure that it, like she said, she got like how she said, make it go viral as well, because if the fake news can go viral, the truth can also go viral.
True.
Being said, I just noticed kind of a difference in perspective. This doesn't really answer any question, but I was just thinking about it. How seniors also have their own experience with misinformation that was like word of mouth in Nigeria about the tomatoes and the beans in the market. And our, in Canada and as youth, our misinformation is mostly through like TikTok, Instagram, and online, or even just, I guess, gossip with friends and rumors. So it's interesting to see like this scale, the different ways misinformation manifests and how it affects us. And yeah, and how, maybe a question I have for everyone is, do we think any information is affecting the current federal election that we have going on right now?
Oh,
In Canada?
In Canada.
There's no technique that we can use. Because where we have human beings that are looking for position, you can go with any means. The only thing we can do is that we don't follow them dogmatically, blindly. When you hear or when you see them, try as much as possible to readdress yourself. What of if I'm the person? If we can be doing that, what of if I'm the person that wants this position? Would I go to this extent of using fake news to gather people to my side? So if we can do that, we can reassess ourselves. That is this possible?
Yeah.
Can I do it? Can my wife do it? Can I allow my children? You know, this place is peaceful. In the area we are from, many of these politicians, their children are not around. And they give them small money, the touts. Give them small money to go and kill themselves. Their children and their wives, they are not around. So there's no way that you can pinpoint them or track them down. So another thing, one thing, don't follow them dogmatically. I think you know the meaning of that, blindly. Don't be blindfolded. So that don't be blindfolded that they can use your brain, that they can turn your brain. And another one, we should research and go to books of history. Not history of this place alone. History that is why we have library. Library is full of knowledge. So we should research. Go to the library. How the Greece, how they prepared their own political arena, the Romans, the Africans, the European nations, consult books of history. From there, you will get facts. And when you see fake news, you can easily recognize that this is fake news. It's also so place, they've used it before. It's also so area, I've seen it. So another thing, that let us put God into our thinking. For God to direct our thoughts. Human mind is full of evil. It's only God that can change it. It's only God. So we should pray. Prayer is very, very, very important in everything we do.
Thank you very much. I think Mark, Kani running for the Prime Minister. A lot of people could say, yeah, for me, I know some people are like, oh, I like him, he's not a politician. You know, he's not a typical politician that, you know, we see our politicians, they have an agenda. You know, he's a businessman. He has run the UK, excuse me, Europe banking system. He did it well, you know. They were in crisis, he was able to take them out of crisis. He did a lot for Canadian too, as a financial, Timmy remind me, as the Minister of Finance, and he was able to do that well. So some people could say, yeah, I will vote for him because he's not a typical politician. And they could say to my French guy that I love so much but I can't pronounce his name, the other guy, Pierre, I love him. You know, we could say, oh, Pierre, he's a typical politician, you know, that's all his job, he's just messing with us. What makes us think he won't be like Trudeau. You know, so those information, because I didn't even know about Mark before. It came out all of a sudden. you know, and change the game because everybody were all behind Pierre, whatever, Pierre. We are like, I love Pierre. I love when he talks, when he attacks Trudeau, when he says some fun. I love him. But then these guys suddenly come on the last hour, like in less than a month or two.
But they are calling him Trump's follower.
He's not his Trump follower, he has his own mind. You know, because one...
That's fake news.
That's fake news. He has his own mind. Because, sorry grandma, because Trump, if you study Trump, Trump is a bully, they call him bully.
He's not also a
you know?
politician.
He's not a politician.
And he's not a politician, he's a businessman. You know, so Mark is a businessman, he's not a politician. So he will see things in a different way that, oh, I'm not a politician, I'm a business, I'm doing measurement that the country has to be good financially, whatever. That's the two different. You know, so that has informed my opinion about, okay, Mark, the other guy, politician, they are all messy, they're liars. You know, they say they will do this, then they won't do that. But this guy is a businessman. You know, businessman, you can tell they want growth, they want money in the country. When money circulates, we are all good. So I could say, yeah, that informed my opinion about the current election. Go ahead, Grandma.
One other thing I think people will like this
Mark.
What's the time the Trump set up this tax something for Canada, and he said he's going to make Canada the first state. And you know, the way he responded, I think so many people say, this one is not going to be like the former Prime Minister. So he's going to, I think that's one of the things people might like to vote for him.
Which is fair. You can see Doug from Toronto, the mayor of Toronto. You know, if you know their history, you know, his brother died and he became the mayor. You know, just like the Adelekes in Nigeria, you know, that one died and he was there sliding. You know, he stood firm. It was like, no, you know, Trump like people that stand with him. You know, it was like, no, you know, Trump must be crazy. You know, he took action. It was like, okay, go to the SCB or take all American product off Canadian product. You know, now let's stand up. So you can hear Trump like, okay, yeah, that guy is tough, but we love Toronto. I love him. You know, he likes Trump. He's not a politician. He's a businessman. He will fight you, and he'll be like, okay, when you don't fight back, just like China. Oh, China, they will come to the table. They're not coming. You know, oh, I know they want to talk to us. Obviously, they don't want to talk to you. You know, but when you stand firm, it would drop all those bulliness and be like, okay, let's come to the table. You know, we need to stand. You know, China is standing. When someone asks them, oh, you guys will lose 20% of American whatever, the representative said, we don't care. We've been around 5,000 years before America. We will survive. They said no, and they're standing, and that's what other countries, like I would say Nigeria, stand firm. You know, enrich your people, enrich your country, enrich your citizens so that we can have the same value. You know, we are so rich, we are rich in oil, but we are the poorest, right? So information is really powerful. You know, when Trump said tariff, some people are, do you understand what a tariff means? Do you know you are the people that is going to pay for the tariff?
Yes.
Because if I order something coming from China now, I've already paid. You know, and now it came. Because, for example, when we ordered this, I ordered it a long time ago. Usually $10 for duty-free and stuff. But when the guy came, just for this, from $10, I was paying $200 for duty-free. I'm like, what happened? It's like the tariff. I'm like, well, I bought it a long time ago. It was like, yeah, it came in effectively. I'm like, wow, I paid for it. We are the people that will pay for it. So we need to understand when they say, oh, things is going to happen, how does it affect us as citizens?
It's the grassroots.
Banking system, how does fake news affect us?
How does fake news affect the bank?
The bank, you know?
So, a lot of we as individuals, we get our advice from our family friends, from our parents, from our friend down the streets, from colleagues at work. Those are the people that talk to us literally every second of the day. And we take those, so you asked a very good question. How does fake news affect the ongoing election? Right? And when you Google Mark Carney right now, you see a bunch of different things. There's even one right now talking about his doctorate degree, saying that he plagiarized his thesis. What significance does that even make in what he's trying to do right now? But, you know, people will actually focus on that and say, because of that, I'm not going to vote him. But he's done so many other good things beyond that. But that's even if that's true. Now, going back to your question with the bank, when you sit at a table with friends, or even in this room right now, and they mention Trump, we all get very agitated and be like, well, Trump said Canada is going to become the 51st state. The first time I heard that, I thought it was a joke. I'm like, there's no way he said that. But he actually did.
Proud of it.
And in his own mind, he was so sure it was possible. Like, it's mind-blowing. And a lot of people panicked because of that. They panicked and said, what's going to happen to me, my family? What's going to happen to my house? What's going to happen to my account, my money? What does that mean? Are we going to start spending US dollars? Is Canadian dollars going to disappear? So you see the ripple effect. And then they show up at the bank and say, I need all of my money out of my account. They said Trump is going to come and get it. Right? Or they say the government of Canada is now going into people's accounts and freezing people's accounts.
I told you that. I was like, give me all my money.
What is
freezing?
I'm like, seriously, Rocky, are you for real?
I said that last week, fake news. I read that online.
It affects everyone. It affects your lifestyle. It affects your choices. It affects your financial, decision. Things that you normally would do on a daily basis. You're like now holding back. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what Trump is going to say. The next time he opens his mouth, what's going to happen? So I'm just going to pause and do nothing until I know for sure. But we can't stop living because of one man. We can't stop existing. We can't put our lives on hold because of him, right? In banking right now, I have people that were planning on buying a house before. They were already approved, right? And they're like, I'm not buying right now. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe tariffs is going to be so high and then the property tax is going to go crazy. I'm like, how does tariff and property tax? Two different things. Now, groceries, yes, is going to be affected for sure. What you're eating, what you're wearing, your shoes is going to be affected for sure, right? You're buying furniture, you're buying TVs. Those things are going to be, you're buying a car. The same car you will have bought a few days ago or a few months ago at, say, $30,000. If you're coming in from the US, now they're about $35,000 or more. Everything is going to be affected, either whichever way we look at it. But what I always say is before you make a decision, make sure it's an informed decision. So you get information from 1, 2, 3. Not your family members, not your friends, except if they are professionals in that field. So if someone is advising you and saying, hey, don't put your money here, is that a banker or is that an accountant? Or is that just a teacher who teaches elementary school? Should you be taking advice about financial decisions from a teacher, right? If someone comes in and say, hey, don't buy food from that store because they're known for selling expired goods. That's a different case. You can check the expiry date yourself and confirm is this true or not, right? Bottom line is whatever you're doing, regardless of Trump or not, regardless of the political realms in Canada, make sure that it's a well-informed decision before you make it. Because in the end, you're the one deciding to take that decision. You're the one that it's going to affect, not the person that gave you the information. Right? We live in a world where there's a lot of uncertainty. You can wake up today, cross the road, and get hit by a car. Right? Some would say, I want to drive a Tesla because I don't need to buy gas. And some would say, I don't like Tesla just because it's owned by this guy's friend. Right? But either you're driving a Tesla, either you're getting into a bus, either you're driving a car that is fueled by gas. It's a risk. You don't know if you're going to make it home. So every single decision that we make every day is based on the risk. make sure that that risk is worth it, and make sure that you have enough information to actually take the leap to take that risk. And but if you do nothing, you're not going to get anything. Is that
a little 17-year-old boy in Nigeria? When Itobe was campaigning, the boy was one of the people. I don't know what he did for him. He stood in front of the car and was telling him. So I think the guy called him, asked, they gave him money anyway, and we call them area boys for some people that are not from Nigeria. So the people at the corner in their area now said, give us our own share.
Yes. They nearly killed the boy.
he ended up in prison?
He ended up in prison.
Yeah,
He's
in prison. I got him out recently.
They put him in prison.
Yeah.
You see, our system, police is saying they did not tell them, they did not approve the boy's release. But I think the court did. And police was not informed and all of that. So you see, this is where the system goes bizarre. Everybody is doing their own thing. And of course, it was very illegal to have kept the boy because he was underage.
Underage, yeah.
He was underage. They kept him.
For what crime? What crime did he do?
He did not share money, but they now said he was part of an armed robbery.
Blackmailed him.
That's the fake news we're talking about. And he was actually nailed and then put silenced somewhere. So all these things are things that need to change. Even in this Western world, they tell lies against you in order to nail you. So it's not only in Africa or in Nigeria that it happens. All hate.
It's everywhere.
Hate. Hate is the worst thing that can happen to anybody. We have seen it play out different times. And it's really sad.
Said this, so I'm running with it. You know, I saw it on the other day, like, oh, CRA is freezing people's account. I'm like, Timmy, please, I need all my money. They're freezing. Honestly, I said that. And I read it. Oh my God, I was like, he was like, what are you talking about? That's true.
That's fake news.
That's fake news.
Honestly.
Honestly.
They shared it to me too.
Yeah, she called me entirely. She was like, take out all my money. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Oh my God! So we will continue to learn. You know, do our own research. You know, do our own findings. You know, mostly I'm really like about the younger generation because they're so, like Grandma said, don't follow them blindly. Do your own. They're so quick. Like the Peter Gates that we watch. You know, if he's not strong, he can commit suicide. You know, a lot of things can happen when people mess with you. You know, to the extent where that will go, you know, a lot, and we've seen that in school. We've seen a lot of that happen when you're being bullied, or when gossip is being, just passed around without fight about you. A lot of things. So we need to ask questions. Continue to ask questions. You know, because they're a police officer does not mean they have the right to enter your car. There are a lot of things you need to know about yourself.
Excuse me, please. That is in civilized communities. Civilized countries. I'm sorry to say, but talk of Nigeria. Anything happens in that country. Anything happens in that country. And nobody cares. If you don't have a voice, you are gone. You are gone. Now speaking of countries that are civilized. How civilized is Nigeria? Civilized that
we are civilized.
We are civilized. Alright. You still see us in this age snatching ballot boxes. You will see them saying, yes.
It's the method. If they give them something else,
give this boys 5,000 naira. They've disturbed everywhere. Now tell me, for how long are they going to spend this 5,000 naira? They call it 5,000 naira and suffer for the next 4-8 years. So because of that, all these things we're saying, we are talking about civilized countries too. And when we are talking of hate speech, even if you don't have, if you want to lend your voice and you don't have a voice, nobody recognizes you. Nobody recognizes you. So just shout and shout and shout and you have to keep quiet.
Yeah.
What kills Delegiwa?
Yeah, speaking the truth.
What kills Delegiwa?
Yeah.
And some of things would have happened before we know the truth.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Honestly, like it's still happening now, even in that country. And people are running out of the country. And the government is not doing anything. See the killings on the increase every now and then.
Kidnapping,
killings.
Harvesting
Organs. I was going through one of the things about, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? They said in a church, they were discovering bombs. And they said, so what are we talking about? So I don't know.
Like grandma said, like this word is just, I don't know.
Honestly, Burkina Faso the man should hand back to a democratically elected government. That is our own president saying that. So this man is doing in Burkina Faso.
Yeah. Beautiful work.
So beautiful work. So what are we talking about?
Good work. You know.
What are we talking about? It's unfortunate.
That's why we are investing in our youth. I keep saying that. You know, you guys
are
the next generation.
Why you are the youth. I don't know. No. Youth are the something for tomorrow. Are they giving these youths the opportunity
to? Yeah, that's why. That's why this, like Burkina Faso is coming. Is the young president ever. You know, 33 years old. You know, if you guys stand up, 33 years old, standing up against grown people. United States, standing up against France. France said a word yesterday, you know. And again, let's read your news, watch your news, you know. For me, that's one thing. I don't watch TV, I don't do a documentary history. France is like, oh, the president was like, oh, Africans are ingrate, you know, they don't know gratitude. And he responded. He said, I don't know if you're a Christian or not, but if you pray every day, you should pray to Africa. Because there's no France without Africa, you know. If you look at the war, during the war, they went to take people. You know, there's no France without, there's no Africa without France. There's no Burkina Faso. And look at this guy that knows nothing as a president coming out to someone that studied history, someone that is doing well. Why? He doesn't want your help. He said he doesn't want to wait. They pay all their debt so that they won't have to report to the Western world. Yeah. And now people are coming to them, oh, we want to build school, we want to build mosque. He said no. Because once they do that, you know anything the Western God will give you, it's not for free.
Yeah. That's it.
It's not for free. Yeah. And it's the same thing here with our welfare system. I tell people, if you're on welfare, you think you're enjoying it, it's not for free. Your retirement, you know, your future. What do you get when you're like at that 65? You have nothing because you've no work put into it. So nothing, government will not give you anything for free. So we need to stand up. Okay, Ibrahim cannot do it alone. We need other neighborhood African countries to stand up. Let's be our own. We have the resources. That's why are we here. That's why you meet some white people. Oh, you're from wherever. What are you guys doing here? Don't you guys have oil? Don't you guys have gold? Don't you guys have this? Yeah, they sold it. They sold it. So we have to be here.
They sold it.
They sold it.
The Western world bought it from us.
Oh, yeah.
We penny it to them. We penny.
Why did you sell it to
them? It's ignorance.
Ignorance.
Oh, for how long?
It's greed. It's not ignorance.
For how long? It's greed.
Quite aware.
And the money, what are they using the money for? Ask me.
Go ahead.
What are they using the money for?
Tiffany asked a question.
No.
Oh, I thought you.
I don't know if you have the answer. It's like, who is selling out Africa, essentially? Who is selling out the diamonds in Congo or the oil in Nigeria?
It's we Africans. We sell, they say, oh, we will do this. Oh, we give them the mineral resources.
It's the Africans.
We don't produce, we don't export, and we have that. You know, we have, how do a Chinese person go to Nigeria and become a police officer? Can you do that in China?
Never.
We've sold that to them. We worship anybody that is not our color, we worship them. We rather give them kudos before we celebrate our own. In Nigeria, if you go to Nigeria now, the island, there's so much Lebanese restaurant.
Yes.
In their country, they kill us. In Libya, in this, in that, they kill us. So the people that saw this, not us, not them, from the generation when they are using mirrors to do slavery then. If you read about slavery, They come into Africa, bring a mirror, oh, the kings, a mirror, a comb. Oh, let's ship in 100 of men to slave. That's how slavery started. We sold our thing, ignorant. Somebody said it is ignorant, unknown.
Even glasses.
Glasses. And the people that want to stand to fight against it, they kill them. By our people. So that's why I'm still bringing it back to you guys. Speak up, be your voice. You know, be informed. Read, do your research, learn stuff. So when you're speaking, you speak with intelligence. Like, oh, I know this. Take time to study the history of Gaddafi, Nigeria, Mali, all those countries. So when you're speaking to your peers, you can, if they say, oh, Nigeria, I heard you guys have gold or you guys have oil, what will you say? I don't know. I'll do the research. How do we harvest oil? Nigeria, we have lots of beautiful oils. We can't even access it. You know, because we have other people, Western people, they are the ones using it. So we need to do better.
And if I can add to that, sorry, Mom. If I can add to that, when you're speaking up, you're going to have people that will fight against you and try to shut you up. So one side is you're not speaking up and you just blend in. You don't make a difference. You're just like everybody else. But when you actually stand up to speak up, and whatever it is that you're saying is against everything that they believe in, you're going to have people that will push back. But don't let that stop you from speaking the truth that you believe in. As long as you've done your research and you're confident in what you're talking about, don't stop talking. Don't let anybody shut you down. Because you'll have people that will come and say, oh, what is she talking about? Or if they can't speak to what you're talking about, they're going to speak to your person, you as an individual. They're going to find something that they believe is wrong with you, so that way they can turn everyone against you, and then people can stop listening to you. So don't let that stop you. Continue to speak up, continue to speak your truth, continue to believe in what you're saying. Either you're talking about, you know, cosmetics, you're talking about dress code, you're talking about personalities, you're talking about morals, whatever it is that you believe in, that you're speaking up about, don't let anyone shut you down. Because they will try. And it will not be once, twice. It would happen throughout the journey of your life. You will always have someone that will speak against you. Look at Trump. As much as he has people, I'm going to say maybe 80% of them in this room are not a fan. But he also still has fans. Right? So it goes both ways. You'll have the ones that are for you and the ones that are against you. But don't let that stop you.
Like, if you speak up and speak up and speak up, in some areas, assassination is the next thing.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So, once that person gets assassinated, what happens again? Who loses? That person's family.
And that's what we're trying to fight.
That's why people are trying to be quiet now. Because I don't know.
But we can't be quiet.
We have to sacrifice. Like the young ones, you have to stand for the truth. Whatever the truth, you feel the truth is, your conscience. I have been watching or following this new president, a female president from Namibia. I love her so much.
She's very outspoken.
Yeah. Very outspoken, and she's an action woman.
Yeah.
But I saw something, I don't know whether it's true or not, how she deported 500 Americans.
Yeah.
They did not have valid visas. They were illegal. So it's not only us that Trump would be deporting. Just also deport their own people.
That's exactly what she said. She said if Namibians need a visa to go to America, Americans need a visa to come to Namibia.
So that's it. Because most of the countries are visa free for them. But for us, we must sweat. We go to embassy. I met someone that has been to American embassy in Nigeria 11 times.
What are they looking for?
Stop going.
Greener pasture.
11 times.
And he got it at the 12th time.
Wow.
Commitment. And remember each time he paid visa fee. Each time you pay visa before. But that is being resilient. You just refuse to give up.
Inside their own houses?
Yes.
And government is not doing anything about all this?
I hope you guys have read the story of Natasha.
Natasha, what? What is the last name?
Akpoti in Nigeria. No, you know Natasha now. With the Senate President.
Oh, yeah, Natasha, the young, yeah. You don't know.
The senator from Kogi.
Natasha. She's a senator in Nigeria.
Honestly,
Kogi State.
Kogi State. Senator from Kogi. Write it down. Because I watched it. Natasha,
she's tough. She's supposed to be the president of Nigeria. Because she was threatening everything.
I hope so.
They won't allow, but it will happen in the future. It will happen now. Because Natasha is strong. She's intelligent. She's well read. She's a lawyer. And she knows what she's talking about. Even when they said she alleged that they were planning to kill her. And those that sat in the meeting and planned had somebody with them. And the person sneaked out to tell them. So every movement she got to know. Every movement she got to know. But 2 weeks ago, they actually went to assassinate her. And they said, initially, they said she was lying. But they went to assassinate her in her family house. And she was not there. She was not there. Gunmen.
Hey. And what's her crime?
What is her crime?
She spoke up.
She spoke up. This is what I'm saying.
She spoke against bad behavior. Right in the Senate, right in the leadership, the people that are supposed to be leading the country are right. The Senate president, she allegedly said he had sexual harassment, right? Which is words are spoken, things that people don't talk about in Africa. You don't say it out loud. Because instead of them going after the accuser, they go after the victim.
Imagine.
Right? So because she spoke up, they first of all suspended her from the Senate.
For 6 months.
Yes, and then never happened. And then she went to the United Nations to plead her case. She went to the courts in Nigeria to plead her case. They tried to shut her up multiple times. They actually organized, what's it called? People, paid them pennies, right? To discredit her. But that didn't stop her. Even our own people from Kogi also were fighting against her instead of for her. So in the end, she pretty much was alone. Even the women in Senate. Women like her in Senate, there are very few women in the Senate. And you look at the ratio, there's 4 of them. Yeah, there's just 4 of them out of like 100. Yeah. And the other three did not even speak for her. They were speaking against her. But that didn't stop her. So because they can't shut her up, then now they're trying to kill her. Right? So which is pretty sad.
Yeah.
Very, very sad. For someone trying to fight for her own right, but they're saying, no, you're not allowed. You don't have the power to fight for yourself. It's a very sad situation, but that can happen on different levels. That's at the Senate where we're all watching. But even on the grassroots here, at school, amongst your peers, that can happen in different ways.
Problem. Some years back, on social media, we heard, Ghana kenke is our staple food. And then we heard that kenke was giving cancer. Oh yes, kenke was giving cancer. So people stopped patronizing kenke and it was going down. And it's made of corn. So questions and research had to go back. And people were saying, our forefathers, our grandmothers, our parents, that's kenke, have been eating kenke all this time and they didn't die of cancer. How come now kenke is killing us of cancer? Okay, so later it came out again on social media that kenke is not cancerous. Kenke is not cancerous because it's from corn, and we use corn for kenke, from pap, for banku, for a lot of things. So if kenke is cancerous, then every other food is cancerous. Exactly. But we're lucky that, I mean, people came out with research and were able to convince us that no, kenke is not cancerous. So we are back to it. Fake news, social media fake news, that it destroys communities and all this. Yeah. So we have to be very careful about that. Yeah. Thing. The new party, when they were trying to when they were campaigning, they used it as their campaign that they were going to stop galamsey, because most of our water bodies are spoiled. The Chinese have infiltrated the place, and when you go to the villages where they are mining, the children, it's a pity. They are deformed from birth, and they have various ailments and all that. So, and this new party used that as their campaign program. But they are in now, they are in government now, and they haven't done anything yet.
They just entered.
They just entered. But the way you said it, we were all anxious that within the first 100 days we'll see a difference. But nothing. Nothing. You see, they are quiet on it. At least tell us something so we know there's something going to happen. But nothing. So that's Ghana for you. We are still in.
Just be informed. Thank you all for coming. We continue our session, our second session. I'm so happy. And next, in a couple of weeks, we're going to be watching another movie. And we're watching movie to learn, and we talk about it. You know, have good interactive session. Because it's happening everywhere. Back home, here, everywhere we are seeing it. Something is informing our decision.
Look for a good African movie so that we can watch it. Let's balance it off.
Okay.
Because like with this ones, when you talk about Nigerian movie, they don't care. They don't want to know what happens there. Or you see a lot of things like this also happen in those movies, and they are real life stories. They are real life stories.